Gosh. You know, Yeshivah called me and asked me to speak at the dinner tonight, and I thought, first of all, I was very reluctant. I said, Yeshivah, I'm not comfortable publicly speaking. And then Rosh calls me and says, Meir, you're going to be the first speaker. I said, come on, first, number one, I'll speak. But then I thought about it, and I said, I must be here tonight. I must have a message that I could share with you that maybe you'll take away and bring to your own lives. And I agreed to do that, to be here in front of you tonight. I've worked with Rosh, and it's been an incredible journey. He's really helped me find my inner voice, and I am seriously petrified generally of standing in front of a room full of people and speaking. But I do want to be real with you. I know that for myself, my own going to dinners and listening to speakers, I know it's not always the most interesting or exciting part of your evening. So I'll try to share with you something that's really personal and really real from my own life that hopefully you could take away from and walk away from tonight with something positive. So following up with Rosh, I'm going to start off by telling you all something that I feel deeply in that life is indeed precious. Every moment matters. And the fact is, I deserve to be standing up here tonight because in my life and the struggles that I've had, I feel that I can tell you that life is in fact precious and that every moment matters. So 4 years ago, my wife and I and our family was blessed with a beautiful, healthy baby girl. Her name is Charn Alexandra. She was born healthy and normal, and everything was great. Just like babies are, waking up during the night and keeping you up all night, coming to work bleary-eyed and tired. And everything was great until she was 7 weeks old. She suddenly came down with a fever. It was actually right around this time, right Erev Purim. It was a Shabbos before Purim. That night, that year, Purim was Motzei Shabbos. And the fever got worse as the day progressed, and we realized, hey, this isn't a regular virus like we've been through with other children. This is something serious. And it turned into seizures, and we ended up calling Hatzalah. Hatzalah and Dr. Rosen immediately sent us to Maimonides Hospital, and we were sitting there in the emergency room of Maimonides Hospital watching as a medical team worked on our daughter. And those moments as parents were some of the most difficult moments I've ever experienced, feeling totally hopeless and helpless over the fate of our daughter, watching as these doctors worked on her, and as they came out to us and said, the only thing you can do now is pray. It really was a terrible, terrible time, but we did pray, and we prayed harder, we davened harder than we have ever, that I know that I did, and my wife did, and thank God, Charno stabilized enough to be moved to the ICU. And she was in the ICU and recovering from still fighting. Every day was a fight, and we really made the conscious decision from the outset to Trafkud Vedzayin that we should be positive and consciously approach this in a positive way, a positive mindset. And she fought this infection and for 2 months in the hospital, and the entire time we had support from the community. Lamplighters was there for us with the parents, providing dinners for us, for our children, and to eat every night. We had babysitting provided for us, and we parents would just say, hey guys, how can we help? Everyone wanted to help. And the campaigns worldwide to do mitzvahs in her honor it really lifted us up, because it made us feel that we weren't alone in our struggle and our journey. And that made all the difference in the world. So this is a struggle that really gave light to my wife and I that life indeed is precious. And it's something that we need to hold on to and treasure. I'm the oldest of 4 children. I have 2 sisters and a brother. My brother, David, was the youngest of the family, full of life. He's a kid like the joker of the family, the kid that everyone always got to make the jokes and always getting into trouble or getting me into trouble. But he would play with us, and growing up, he always wanted to play with me and my friends. And he was good. He was a gifted athlete, and he grew up and was on sports teams and captain of different teams, and he really was a very talented young man. He was handsome and charming, and he had a real zest for life, and he loved to make people laugh. Wherever he would go, he would make people laugh. People, David's here, he's going to make us laugh, or he's going to entertain us with his freestyle rap. People loved him. Throughout his life, David struggled with the disease of addiction. It was something that was like a shadow on his shoulder that, he would put forward a happy face, but he was really struggling, and it was something that took a huge toll on my family and my parents and my siblings and myself, and it was very difficult for us. And he struggled and he worked and he tried to get clean, he tried to do what he could do, but it seemed like he was struggling with a spiritual void inside of him, some kind of emptiness that he couldn't escape no matter where he turned. And it plagued him wherever he went. A year and a half ago, he was living in Israel, and his girlfriend at the time bought him a pair of tefillin. He hadn't had tefillin in many years, and his girlfriend bought him a pair of tefillin, and he put it on Erev Yom Kippur. And he took a picture of himself with the tefillin. You may have seen the picture. It's in the pamphlet in front of you. And the look on his face was such deep pain and such struggle and such longing. And that look was something that really encapsulated where he was, that pain, that search. Because he wanted to connect. He desperately wanted to connect to his God, connect spiritually. And he made plans with his friend to go and to daven a Chabad in Tel Aviv for Yom Kippur night. And Yom Kippur night came and went, and David never showed up. And after Yom Kippur, everyone was concerned and looking for him, and they had the police come to his apartment, and they knocked down his door, and they found David dead of an overdose in his apartment. He was 29 years old. Obviously, this struck a huge blow to myself, my only brother, and to my family, my children, who will never get to know their uncle, who will never get to see his love of life, his zest for life. It's something that's struck a huge blow to my whole family. And it's something, unfortunately, the story of my brother is something that's he's not alone anymore in our times. It's something that our youth and our children are struggling with the epidemic, as we see, of addiction that's plaguing our community. And I feel, with that as a backdrop, with my little story, how important it is to me and how much more important it is to all of us to make sure that we instill our children with the tools that they need in order to combat the obstacles and the struggles that they're definitely going to face in life, because life isn't struggle-free. We all have struggles, we all have obstacles that we need to address. And, my oldest son, Pacey, who is actually here tonight, hi Pacey, and 7 years ago, he was in a school, Yeshivah in Crown Heights, and we felt at the time that he was a little bit floating through the system. We felt that he was a good kid, but he wasn't necessarily getting the attention he deserved. And you know what? That didn't sit well with us. So we heard that Rivka and her husband, Rav Moshe Shak, were coming out from Chicago to head up to be the educational directors of the school. We said, you know what? It's time for us to take the next step and take Pacey, do something uncomfortable for us, and move Pacey into Lamplighters, because we don't want him to just float through. We don't want him to just be another face in the crowd. And I'll tell you, we haven't looked back. It's been an incredible journey. We've enjoyed seeing him grow. We've enjoyed seeing him realize his potential, and I'll give you an example of that we just had the pleasure of seeing by his bar mitzvah, which we just recently celebrated a couple of months ago. So preparing for his bar mitzvah, there's a bar mitzvah mimer, there's a track that boys usually learn by heart, and then they give it over at the party. And usually it's given over, and it's a tradition, but Pacey decided he wanted to, besides learning it in depth with his teacher from Lamplighters, Reb Avner, he wanted also to do it, like he said, Pacey style. He wanted to incorporate technology and in a way that people in the audience could come away and say, hey, I learned something in an interactive way. And he did that. He put together a PowerPoint presentation, and it was really well put together, and hours and hours of work went into it from what he learned with his Rebbe, and with my wife's help, of course, and gave over that presentation by his bar mitzvah. And let me tell you, my wife and I were watching him give over that presentation with confidence and joy and passion. right there, it all came home together for me. Wow, thinking back to 7 years ago, we decided to move him over. This is why we're here right now today, because so Pacey can be up there and express himself confidently, and knowing that he is important, that he matters. And this is why we're all here tonight. Thank you. This is why we're all here tonight, because life indeed is precious. We all have obstacles. No one in this room goes through life without any problems. Life, it has its ups and its downs. But we need to remember, I heard something interesting, that discomfort is a price of admission to a meaningful life. And that's true, because we grow from our struggles. Our struggles show us and make it real to us that what we have when we have our health, and we have our families, and we have our relationships that we treasure and that are close to us, that's the most important thing. So let's leave here tonight knowing and remembering that our children are in Lamplighters Yeshivah, and they are being given the tools and the skills they need to approach these obstacles, to approach the issues that they're going to face in life. And they're well equipped from the wonderful staff at Lamplighters Yeshivah. They're very well equipped to approach and to help make this world a brighter place. Thank you.